Welcome to Workplace Wisdom, the Clyde podcast series on dynamic risk assessment, and today we're diving into a crucial topic in workplace safety, dynamic risk assessment, and how to adapt to real-time changes in the workplace. I'm your host, Liza. We'll explore how dynamic risk assessment can help organizations stay ahead of potential hazards and ensure a safer work environment. Today, we have Mr. John with us, who will help us understand this topic. Welcome, John, to Clyde podcast series. As we understand, traditional risk assessments can sometimes be static and fail to account for the rapidly changing conditions in many work environments. Let's delve into how dynamic risk assessment can provide a more flexible and responsive approach to managing risks. John, let's start by defining what we mean by dynamic risk assessment and how it differs from traditional risk assessment methods.
Thank you, Liza, for inviting me on the podcast series. To answer your question, I would put it as traditional risk assessment involves identifying potential hazards and evaluating risks at a specific point in time, often during the planning phase of a project. Dynamic risk assessment, on the other hand, is a continuous process. It involves constantly monitoring the work environment and adjusting risk control measures in real time as new hazards emerge or conditions change.
That sounds much more interesting now. Why is dynamic risk assessment becoming increasingly important in today's workplaces?
Great question, Liza. In today's dynamic and rapidly evolving work environments, the importance of dynamic risk assessment cannot be overstated. Workplaces are more complex and fast-paced than ever before. New technologies, changing workflows, and evolving regulations mean that risks can emerge unexpectedly. By using dynamic risk assessment, organizations can respond to these changes in real time, preventing accidents and ensuring the safety of their employees. It also allows for more agile and flexible safety management, which is essential in today's rapidly changing work environments.
Those are compelling reasons. Can you provide some examples of tools or technologies that facilitate dynamic risk assessment?
Certainly, Liza. There are several innovative tools and technologies that are transforming the landscape of dynamic risk assessment. For example, wearable devices and sensors can monitor environmental conditions and worker health in real time, providing immediate alerts if a potential hazard is detected. Mobile apps can be used to report hazards instantly, allowing for quick response and resolution. Additionally, AI and machine learning algorithms can analyze data from various sources to predict potential risks and suggest preventive measures. These technologies make it easier to gather and analyze data continuously, supporting a dynamic approach to risk management.
Those technologies sound incredibly useful. What are some practical steps that organizations can take to implement dynamic risk assessment in their workplaces?
This is a wonderful question and required risk-based thinking. Implementing dynamic risk assessment involves several key steps. To begin with, first, organizations need to establish a culture that values safety and encourages proactive risk management. This includes training employees to recognize and report hazards in real time. Second, integrating technology, such as sensors and mobile apps, can facilitate continuous monitoring and reporting. Third, organizations should regularly review and update their risk management processes to ensure they remain effective as conditions change. Finally, it's important to analyze data collected from dynamic risk assessments to identify trends and areas for improvement, allowing for ongoing enhancement of safety practices.
Those steps provide a clear roadmap for implementation. What challenges might organizations face when transitioning to dynamic risk assessment, and how can they overcome these challenges?
Challenges are part of any implementation process, and they need to be understood before you are addressed. One common challenge is resistance to change, especially if employees are accustomed to traditional risk assessment methods. To To overcome this, organizations need to communicate the benefits of dynamic risk assessment clearly and involve employees in the transition process. Another challenge is the initial investment in technology and training. While this can be significant, the long-term benefits of improved safety and reduced incidents often outweigh the costs. Finally, ensuring data accuracy and managing the volume of information generated by real-time monitoring can be challenging. Organizations can address this by using advanced data analytics tools and ensuring robust data management practices.
That's really insightful, John. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts or advice for our listeners?
Just a reminder that safety is an ongoing process. Stay vigilant, keep communication channels open, and always be ready to adapt to new challenges. A proactive approach to risk management can make a significant difference in maintaining a safe and productive workplace.
Well said, John. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you for having me, Liza. It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember, dynamic risk assessment is about being proactive and adaptable. Let's work together to stay ahead of potential hazards and create safer workplaces for all.